If you could send a message to all the high-up producers in Hollywood, what would you say?
I would say give people with disabilities an opportunities to audition for roles. We are here, we are ready to work, we are trained just as much as any other actor, and we deserve the same opportunities just as any other actor. And we're not even looking just to get a part just because we're disabled. We're looking just for a shot to just show what we're capable of doing. So just audition us. That's it.
Do you ever find it offensive that Hollywood claims to be radically inclusive, yet they don't include people with disabilities?
Yes, I cannot stand that. People with disabilities, we make up 20% of the population. And I can't tell you how many times I've been at a panel or a discussion or an event that was about diversity and inclusion, and disability was never mentioned.
Why don't you think it is?
Because of we live in a world where people were told to not stare at people with disabilities.
Welcome to SBSK. We believe that everybody has a story that's worthy of being heard. When we listen to one another, the world becomes a closer place, and we all benefit together. So without hesitation, let's meet today's friend.
What is your diagnosis?
I was born with a birth defect called Spina Bifida. I am paralyzed from the waist down. I was also born with hydrocephalus, which means water on the brain. So when I was a month old, I had a shunt implanted in my brain to drain the fluid off of my brain. I also have a neurogenic bowel and bladder, which means I cannot control my bowel and bladder on my own.
What is the most important thing for the world to understand about you?
That I am more than just my disability. I'm more than what people see when they meet me.
What do you hope people see when they meet you?
I hope they see a beautiful soul that can contribute to society effectively.
Why did you move here to LA?
I moved to LA to pursue a career in acting and modeling because I grew up loving film and loving modeling and beauty magazines and red carpet events, and I was in love with the glitz and glam of Hollywood, but I didn't see anyone that looked like me. So it always felt like I could never be involved in the glitz and glam and the world that is Hollywood. And I wanted to find my way. I wanted to find a way to be included and to be involved and to make a difference in it so that the future generation doesn't feel the way I felt growing up, feeling isolated and invisible to the rest of society. What we consume in mass media is what we believe to be true. And so I really feel if it was to happen in Hollywood, it was trickle down. It would trickle down if you saw more people with disabilities in roles that were the assistant, the boss, the mom, the aunt, the best friend, the love interest. If you were to see people with disabilities in those positions in TV and in film, then it would show the rest of society say, oh, I never thought dating a girl with a disability, but that movie, it didn't seem that bad, so maybe I might be open to it.
Why were you depressed when you were younger?
I was depressed because I felt invisible. I felt invisible to everyone. When I was in high school, my friends were getting dates. No one would talk to me. I wanted to model. People would laugh at me. I wanted to act, and people told me that was nothing you could ever pursue.
How has Spina Bifida affected your love life?
It has affected my love life hugely. Like I said, people have assumptions when they meet me, and so most guys don't want to get to know me. They automatically assume I can't do anything. And I guess I'm not as attractive, so I usually don't get hit on.
What are the biggest misconceptions men have about you?
First, definitely the first thing that comes up is possibly sex. People automatically assume someone with a disability isn't sexually active, which is far from the truth. And that I think a lot of guys look for girls that can be wifely or motherly or whatever I guess the word would be, which is I'm a very strong independent woman, so no, I'm not gonna be motherly to you. But do I know how to cook and, you know, care for a man the way a woman's supposed to care for her boyfriend or fiance or husband? Yes, we are very much capable of that, and we deserve to be loved just as much as anybody else. We are loving sexual beings just as much as anyone else. So for people to automatically assume that we aren't dateable is very naive of you. And people need to get past that. And I also think one of the things is, which also goes back to, again, Hollywood. Because if we were to be seen in film and TV as love interests, then I think people, other people would see us as being dateable options. I actually had someone say to me, assume that I was faking, that I wasn't really disabled. And he said, you could never be disabled. You're too pretty. And I was like, how can someone with a disability not be attractive? I have been single for a very, very long time. But also I am focused on my career, so I'm not mad at it.
But are you single and ready to mingle?
Yes, I am. I have been on dating apps. It has been challenging because I went through evolving with being a lot more comfortable with myself. Because I got tired of being rejected. I was on dating sites for a while and I wouldn't show my wheelchair. But then I got tired of having that awkward conversation with guys after they wanted to start having a conversation with me and wanted to meet. And then you gotta have that, I have something to tell you. And then it's just like, then you gotta let them know, well, you know, I am in a wheelchair. And so that was always an awkward conversation to have. And so I was like, I need to stop doing this to myself. I have a lot to contribute to a relationship. I'm gorgeous. I can cook. I'm fun.
Do you feel like you have to validate yourself to others?
Yes, I do feel like I have to validate myself to others. People automatically assume I'm not educated, I have no talent, I have no voice, I can't do anything. And so I constantly have to prove that I am capable of doing something. I am educated. I do bring something to the table. I do have talent and all these different things that people don't think I have. And sometimes I even have people tell me when they finally hear me speak, people are so shocked when they hear me speak and they say, you speak so well. I'm like, yes, I may be born with Spina Bifida, and yes, I may use a wheelchair, but I'm still an educated woman. Now I'm on dating sites and you see my wheelchair, you see me all glammed up, and I haven't gotten many responses, but it's okay. I mean, one day somebody will notice the value that I can contribute as a girlfriend and will want to date me.
What has it been like trying to make your way as an actress model in LA?
It has been very, very tough. A lot of times as an actor with a disability, I only get to audition for roles that call for someone with a disability. And then a lot of times we don't even get the opportunity to even audition. They automatically give it to a well-known actor who isn't disabled, will put them in a wheelchair and let them play the role. And it's like, they say, well, we need a huge name actor, but how can a person with a disability become a huge name if we don't have the opportunities to have the stepping stone to make it there? So that gets very, very frustrating.
What's it like for you when you see an actor without a disability playing a part who has a disability?
It's very frustrating and it's personally offensive.
When we look back at the history of TV and film in America, we see a lot of things that are unethical that we now know are unethical, like blackface.
Yes.
Do you think an actor who's not disabled playing somebody who is disabled will one day be looked at in the same vein as blackface?
I think one day it will happen and they would probably cringe and say, I feel bad for doing that. And I didn't know I shouldn't have done that, just as much as people in the past have done blackface.
Why do you think Hollywood's so afraid to hire actors with disabilities?
I think we're in a society that for years, and I know from experience that people have always told people to not stare at people with disabilities. And so now we've come to a point where we're completely invisible. People talk so much about diversity and inclusion, and I've been to a lot of events where people discuss diversity and inclusion and never mention disability. We are 20% of the population. That is the hugest minority, and we're almost always forgotten. But I think that's why. It's because people always said, don't stare at people with disabilities. And so now society has their blinders on when it comes to people with disabilities. And so now we're screaming, hey, look at us, we're here, don't forget about us. Because, you know, people's parents told them not to stare. I've actually also had people ask me what's wrong with me. Never, ever come up on a person and the first thing you ask, what happened? Or what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just me. Why does there have to be something wrong? I just am who I am. And I think that's where society needs to get to that point. Whereas, why does it matter what our situation is? Why can't we just be seen as human beings?
Tell me about the first job you got out here.
So my very first job was a modeling job for Apple. I got to model for their accessibility page, and that was huge. So that was my very first paid modeling gig. I was so excited. I think society is afraid of is that people see people with disabilities as being the most vulnerable. And so I feel like a lot of people are afraid to, I guess, quote unquote, capitalize off of us because they feel that it's exploitation. It's only exploitation if you aren't equally paying us. But if you're paying them equally as everyone else, then no, it's not exploitation. You're giving a person with a disability a job. So the core of why I pursue a career in acting and modeling is so that younger kids with disabilities can know that they are worthy of love. They are worthy of respect. They are worthy of pursuing their dreams. They are worthy of being seen. They are worthy of whatever talent and brains or genius they bring to the table. You are worthy of sharing that.
Thanks for watching SBSK. Click subscribe here to be part of our community. Then hit the notification bell below so you never miss a story. You can even meet another friend here. See you next time.